Beat me up, my mother will burn your house down. So, this story might be a bit long. Alright, so I am Wiccan, aka not Christian, and I'm pretty open about it. Now, this got me in trouble when I was younger, specifically in the 4th grade. I was bullied heavily in school for this, since I lived in a predominantly Christian area in the South. Note my town is literally only 900 people, this means everyone know everyone. The bullying started typical and manageable, being called names and having my stuff knocked out of my hands. The only thing that really got under my skin was when they'd call me a Satanist or a devil worshipper, but even then I'd just brush it off since I'm neither of those things, and I'd even correct them on what Satanism was. This might have made it worse for a bit, but I had fun doing it. Well, one day I guess I must have done something these kids really didn't like because they managed to talk their older siblings into following me home to beat me up. Some of their siblings were seniors or even graduates, 3 of them were legally adults. This is especially important. As a kid, I have no sense of danger and just took them following me as them going the same way, but I was still moving pretty fast because we just got a Wii and I wanted to play Mario. Well, I managed to get to my yard, but not much further than that when my backpack got grabbed and was pushed to the ground. These teens were now beating me, and they weren't pulling any punches either. Well, I guess my mom heard the noise and came outside. They ran off after that. My mom picked me up and had to take me to the emergency room. I had 2 fractures in my nose and a broken arm. This meant I couldn't play the Wii until it healed, crying face, and the police were called while I was there. Remember how I said I reached my yard? Well, we had cameras that caught most of the assault and caught almost all of the teens' faces. The ones who were 16 and under mostly got a slap on the wrist, and that was that. There were about 7 of them, I think. Not all were hitting me, some were recording, but the ones who were 18 got arrested and faced some heavy prison time. Now there was this 17-year-old, who I will call Trashy Teen from here on, who managed to walk out of this after a few days in the county jail. My mom was not happy with this at all, since his birthday was about 2 weeks away and he should have been charged as an adult. Now, like I said before, this is a small town where everyone knows everyone else, and my mom knew exactly where Trashy Teen lived and knew his parents. This is the point where my mom shared the majority of this story. I'd like to point out that his parents weren't nice people at all, and my mom definitely had more than one reason to despise these people, such as when they stole our Pomeranian from our yard, tied him to a street light and hit him with a stick until he died. The fact that their son broke my bones sent her off the edge with this family, and I think the final nail in the coffin for them was actually bragging about how their son got away with beating up that heathen boy at the local stores and on social media. It didn't take too long for my mom to work out a plan in her mind, because later that week she told me that she'd get them out of town no matter what. My mom is not a killer though, and while she later did admit she was tempted to enact the plan much sooner, she chose not to make things worse if she gets caught. She waited for it 2 months, that is until summer break hit. Trashy family was not one to be quiet about big plans since they loved to brag about having more money than most in the town, and would always announce when they would be going on vacation, where they'd be going, and for how long they'd be going for. This was it, Mom's golden opportunity. She made sure everything was set, checked around Trashy family's neighbors' houses for any cameras, made sure that she had a place she wouldn't be seen, and on the last day of Trashy family's vacation, as I said they'd even announce how long they'd be gone, she went down at night and set their house on fire. This small town didn't have its own fire station, the nearest one was 45 minutes away. By the time a fire truck got there, the damage had been done. Most of their house was completely destroyed. Just like clockwork, that next morning they arrived to see the destruction. You could hear the screaming 3 blocks away. My mom just sat in her chair, drinking coffee, and watching the Golden Girls. The reason I chose to write this now is because my mother passed away in 2017, this was when she chose to tell me the whole story. I didn't want anyone who knew her to read this immediately after her passing, so I waited a few years before sharing. Feel free to ask questions, I will answer them to the best of my abilities.